This is Talkin Hoopz, the show that discusses real NBA stories, gives you all the latest rumors, and gets you into heated debates.
It's dunks and layups. How many of his points have been jump shots? 0.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5.
0.
It's not happening. Not in this NBA. Maybe in the fantasy NBA that they're playing in, but not in this NBA.
We're going to challenge each other in practice.
We talking about practice, not a game.
Once the game starts, it's going to be easy.
You better get off whatever you're smoking.
Strap in, get your popcorn, put your headphones on.
This is Talkin Hoopz.
It's really good to checking out Talkin Hoopz. Talkin Hoopz.
Talkin Hoopz, the official talk show of NBA Miami.
Talkin Hoopz starts right now.
Talkin Hoopz. TalkinHoops.com. AJ, Kyle, as always with you for the hour. A lot of stuff going on in the world of basketball. A lot of big topics around the league. Nothing too crazy, but it's pretty good late, early fall, late summer talk. Some good stuff. NBRPA Miami chapter, NBRPAMiami.com. And Mark Strickland, son had a football game, had to make that, so he will be joining us again next week. But got to show some love to the co-host, right, Kyle?
That's right.
All right. And first of all, how was your weekend, man?
Yo, weekend was good. I'm gonna tell you right now what the best part of the day was, though. Right here. See that?
Pepsi. The
Pepsi
glass Pepsi
in a
bottle.
glass bottle.
That's great.
That's not the plastic crap that you be drinking. This is that real, authentic cane sugar in a Pepsi bottle.
You're really excited about this, huh?
Look at this. Look at this bad boy.
I see it.
Crack
Everybody
this open
sees it.
When it's ice cold, man, that's crazy.
You remember
That is the best soda I've ever had.
You remember the old Pepsi commercials with that the little Pepsi girl doing all that, sitting on the she was playing the piano, and she was like very multi-talented. She did everything.
I don't remember that.
Oh, well, you got to see that commercial.
That must be a Jersey special.
No, actually, I think she is from
New
New
Jersey.
Jersey.
Special
I think
for
she
you.
is. I think she is from New Jersey, but I don't know. Just those were great commercials. Pepsi, they honestly, I like Pepsi more than I like Coke. I'll be honest. I definitely like Pepsi more than I like Coke.
There's a difference, but I don't care what the difference is. They both taste fine. And I'm trying to cut down on the sugar intake. This bad boy's only got like 39 grams of sugar in it, so it's not too bad. Well, I guess, I don't know. That's the best part of my day, though. Well, that's how you know how my day is going, because the Pepsi is the best part. So.
All right, well, I'm glad that we got through the Pepsi segment. You know, that was big right there. But there's a lot of topics to talk about. We got a Knicks update. Jared Jeffrey.
What do you got on there? You got a little Cavs jersey?
A little
old
school
LeBron?
Cavs jersey.
A little LeBron action?
Little old school LeBron action. Well, listen, with the 1980 Knicks probe, I didn't have a throwback Knicks jersey, but I figured I'd wear a throwback something. So, you know. But, okay, so we're going to talk about the Knicks. We're going to talk about Jared Jeffries. Kobe Bryant injury update. Should the Lakers rush this guy back for the opener, or should they just kind of wait till he feels that he's just 100% and ready to go? And then you got Steph Curry, who has the three-point record from last season.
Right.
Making some moves. We'll talk more about that. And then Boston Celtics beat writer for Yahoo Sports and Dime Magazine contributor Warren Shaw will be joining us later in the show to update us on the Celtics and talk some hoops with us. So a lot of good stuff to talk about right now. But let's just get right into the Knicks, and we'll start. I guess start first of all. The probe was probably the biggest thing right now. That was crazy. 1980 Knicks probe. Michael Ray Richardson, the big name on that team at that time. Kind of his name thrown around in the story. Why don't you break down for everybody everything, Kyle?
Well, no, I just want to say first that no names were actually given, so we don't know if Michael was involved or who on this team was involved. Apparently, the 81-82 Knicks were involved in some type of point-fixing scandal. There was a lot of coke heads, quote-unquote, or a lot of drug addicts on the team at that time, and they were exchanging, point-shaving games. They take some games off and throw some games so that their drug dealer, who was a gambler, he can win some games and win some money. So, and in exchange, he'd give him some drugs.
Right.
So it seemed like a win-win for all those parties involved at the time, I guess. It came out in this book. These FBI documents have been quoted in this book. But the weirdest thing about this is that there's a redacted name, okay, at the end of this FBI document, right? And for those who don't know what redacted means, it's like the name was blocked out. It just wasn't there. You know, it was like blacked out so you can't see it. So it's like this redacted name, and in an interview with the FBI, this guy just says, no, this didn't happen. He denies it. And then that's it. It like ends. There was no investigation from the NBA. The FBI didn't. There's no indication that the FBI even went into question any of the Knicks organization or any of the players for the Knicks.
Right.
It just seems like it died right there, which is really odd, and that's why I guess you never heard about it until just now.
Right.
But this book is out, and that's what it said. And if it's true, it's sad. I know coke was rampant in the 80s. That was like a huge drug. A lot of celebrities and athletes were doing it. So I guess it's possible, and if there's FBI documents to support it, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. And let me ask you something, okay?
All
What
right,
if the
ask away.
league actually did find something with this, okay? What at the time, what if the league actually took action? What would be happening right now? Who would be... First of all, you got to track down the names. You got to find out who's involved. Then what do you do to the team for this? Does the team get in trouble? The players get in trouble? I mean, how does the league go about doing this? What is your take on that? Because this is what's been bothering me, so...
I don't think that the league can do anything, and here's why. The FBI documents are incomplete. According to this author, and I've heard him speak in interviews, and one of the things that he said in an interview was that not all the documents are there for this report. There's some things that have just been thrown away. Apparently the FBI purges their records from time to time, and some of the stuff got killed in the purge. So
Right.
we don't have the whole story from the FBI documents. We don't know what else is there.
Right.
The redacted names, who the hell told the FBI that none of this happened and they just believed and made it all go away?
Right.
I mean, there's just not a lot. If the NBA were to take a hard look at this and try and do an investigation now, over 20 years later,
Right.
it'd be a witch hunt, basically, because there's no way of proving anything at this point.
Well, it doesn't
Who you gonna
matter.
go
But,
after? You can't go after the organization.
and either way, it doesn't matter at this point. It's so long ago. It's not going to affect anything today.
That's
You know
right.
what?
I mean, the
It
only
just
thing
doesn't
that they
matter.
could possibly do is maybe take some wins away from the 81-82 Knicks. But then, how many do you take away? How do you prove that this happened? You know, there's too many questions. What's done is done, and it is what it is. I think it's over with. Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, no, definitely. And do you think this kind of stuff still happens today? Because there's a lot of, you know, even in other sports with guys that are, you know, taking drugs and doing things. There's got to be, you know, a coke scandal or look at Lamar Odom. I mean, he's been making headlines for taking stuff. There's got to be more people connected to this. They don't get caught. Or yet.
Well, here's
They
the
haven't
thing.
been caught yet.
It's hard to do that kind of thing because now there's such strict drug testing policies in baseball and football and basketball. You know, you gotta pass drug tests from time to time, and you
Right.
gotta pass physicals and stuff like that wouldn't fly. I mean, I'm sure that marijuana is used. Obviously, J.R. Smith just got a suspension for marijuana. You know,
Right.
I'm sure that there are guys from time to time that do that stuff. But the harder stuff like coke and heroin, that's I think too hard for these guys. I don't think that anybody's getting mixed up in that. And point shaving. It goes on in sports. I don't know if it goes on in like the four professional sports of the USA, like hockey, football, baseball, basketball. I feel like it would be way too hard to pull something like that off. So I think for the most part, fans are safe in terms of how clean things are and how legit things are. Obviously,
Right.
the NBA refs, right? They get questioned a lot for some of their calls. Some of their calls are outrageous.
Yeah.
So, and Tim Donaghy came out, you know, a few years ago saying that there was a referee type of scandal, but I don't think anything crazy is going on.
All right. Well, look, it's in the past, like we said, but just interesting stuff. It's kind of crazy, and I think for fans, for just people that really grew up watching the Knicks in that era, for them to be going to the games and wasting their money basically because it was all fixed. So, you know, or could have been. Most of the games could have been fixed, or whichever games it was. You know, that remains to be seen.
Anything could be fixed. Look, LeBron, Wade, and Bosch. Was that a setup? You know, did they set that up a year in advance? You
Right.
know, we'll never know. Did they
Right.
come together and collude? Was there
Right.
collusion
No.
involved in that? And did they come together and say, listen, you're going to turn down your money. We're going to look at whose team can make this happen with.
Right.
All right, my team can make it happen. You're going to turn down. You're going to turn down. You both are going to come here, take less money, and we can all
Right.
play together. You know, these guys spend a lot of time around each other during the Olympics, right?
Right.
All the best players are assembled every summer. You know, they got Olympic workouts, tryouts, the Olympic Games. They always get together. Now with the power of the internet, with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and everybody can text now. You know, like 20 years ago, texting didn't exist.
Right.
20 years ago, the Facebook and Twitter, these guys can now stay in contact with each other every second of every day if they wanted to. So friendship in the league is different. LeBron and Chris Paul can be best friends and talk every day if they wanted to.
Right.
So, and they don't have to just talk on the phone. There's other ways of them to communicate. So, you know, these guys become great friends. So who knows who's colluding now for next year to play together, or who's trying to play together next year.
Right, no.
Just nobody knows about it.
Definitely. And now, coming back to the current Knicks, they've been working out a lot of players. They still got a roster spot to fill. They're still looking to add one player. Supposedly, for a while, it was a big man, but now, from the reports, Ricky Davis is working out, former NBA player Ricky
When
Davis.
was the last time you heard the name Ricky Davis?
God, I don't even remember. That's how long ago it was.
Exactly.
That's crazy. And even when he was in the league, you know, towards the end of his career, no one really talked about him. He wasn't getting a lot of minutes. He wasn't the most productive player towards the end of his career. But I remember him with LeBron James when he was with the Cavs. You know that. You know, when LeBron came into the league, that I remember. I was dying to watch the Cavs games with Ricky Davis and LeBron. It was a dunk show every game. It was a lot of fun. And Darius Miles, I think, was on that squad. I mean, remember Darius Miles? I mean, you know, just when you think Ricky Davis, that's all I think about is like the old school Cavs when LeBron first came into the league. So
Ricky Davis had a lot of swag to his game. And he was probably a really underrated player during his career. Even during the highs of his career, he was probably a pretty underrated player. Like you said, like, you know, people... I feel like he's a player that never really got the respect probably that he deserved for the talent of, you know, the level of talent he brought to the court.
Right. Sounds like you got a little soft spot here for Ricky Davis.
Yeah, I liked his game. Listen, I didn't watch a ton of... He was on like 400 teams. Right. So I didn't get a chance to watch him when he was on like
Minnesota,
Boston, Cleveland, the Clippers, and Boston, whatever other teams he played for. He played. Did he play for Miami? He played for like...
Played for Miami, played for the Clippers.
Right.
Yeah.
He played for a ton of teams. So, but you know, when he was in town and I could watch him during a Knicks game, or I watched him on SportsCenter, the guy could ball straight up. So... The Knicks, though, that's only one of the names they've worked out this week. You were talking about big man Cole Aldrich. Right. I know you remember him, right? Cole Aldrich worked out for the Knicks today.
I like that guy. All right, I know his numbers aren't that impressive, but the guy never really plays, never gets minutes. I'm not saying, you know, he's the greatest player ever, but in some preseason games that I've seen him play, he had a double-double. I think he had actually a couple double-doubles. You know, he's not a bad player. So, you know, I think that's a good guy for the Knicks to be working out if you're a Knicks fan. You know, they're looking to fill that spot. You know, I know Hamed Haddadi was a possibility. So,
right.
You know.
He was a possibility. I haven't heard his name in quite some time, though. So I don't know how much of a possibility he is now.
Right.
If they haven't signed him by now, something has to be up, right? I mean, either on his side or their side, if they're still working out guys. But they're getting their invites on. They're sending out invites to a bunch of guys, just like every team. I mean, Dallas keeps signing guys to bring into camp. They have like 18 or 19 guys on their roster right now.
Right.
You know, they've signed in some way. So teams are really gearing up. They're trying to look. There's no more last man at the bench anymore. Everybody contributes. Everybody's going to get called on at some point. Everybody has to contribute. You can't just be another guy on the bench that doesn't play. Okay. Right. There's no more. Why can't I think of his name? The guy from Boston, the white guy that never played. That when he came in, everybody always cheered. Why can't I think of this guy's name?
Brian Scalabrine.
Scalabrine. Thank you.
There you go.
There's no more.
How do you forget Brian
man?
Scalabrine? Okay. First of all, his Twitter. I don't know if you've. I know we're following Brian on Twitter. He's got some great videos. When he's made some pretty cool plays when he's been in the game, okay? First of all, he's got a bunch of Kobe moments where he just does these unbelievable, like, reverse, you know, layups or whatever it is. Right. And a guy, for his size, his physique, you wouldn't think he'd be able to do these things. But he, you know what? He he made some noise. I don't know if the crowd helped that. I don't know if they, every time this guy came in, the place went nuts. I don't know if he kind of fed off the crowd's energy, but the guy had some really, really nice highlights. So I like Brian Scalabrine, and I think
I like Scalabrine too. That's the White Mamba.
Yeah.
I like the White Mamba.
That's it. See that? There you go. The Kobe moves.
That is the White Mamba.
They don't just call him the White Mamba
and,
for nothing.
But my point is like, guys are getting injured, right? And last year we saw a ton of guys get injured in the playoffs. How many guys got injured? I mean, David Lee, right? David Lee goes down in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook goes down in the playoffs.
Right.
The Knicks' whole roster was getting hurt during the playoffs. And you had guys just stepping in and stepping up. Take for example, Chris Copeland, right? I mean, Knicks fans knew that this guy could ball.
Yeah.
And he didn't get a shot. And then guys started getting hurt. And they couldn't put in the minutes that they usually do during the season. And all of a sudden he gets in, he's bombing threes. And now what? He gets a contract from the team that he played against in the playoffs and did damage with, Indiana.
Right.
And that's how it goes in the NBA now. And if you're not paying attention to that, then you're not watching the games close enough. I mean, when Russell Westbrook went down, who stepped in? Reggie Jackson.
Right.
And he balled. Reggie Jackson filled in admirably for Russell Westbrook. And that's what happens in the NBA now. There's a lot of guys and everybody's counted on. So these invites are going to lead to something.
Right.
Marcus Landry just got signed by the Lakers. They're looking for another shooter off the bench. So teams are trying to get that last piece to the puzzle. No matter how insignificant it seems in a fan's eyes, maybe they'll see an article on Talkin Hoops, Marcus Landry signs with the Lakers. Big deal. But that guy could come in off the bench and hit a huge three-pointer.
You never know.
You never know. That's why you always have to be sure that everybody on your roster is there for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the Lakers just signing Marcus Landry, that's they don't have a lot to work with this season like they thought they were going to. So
they have nothing to work with this season.
Well, I'm just saying any signing for them, that they think can contribute. And to me, that's one of those guys right there. You just don't know. He's had moments, so you just don't know. He's got the D-League experience too. He's been in the NBA before. I think it was a good signing for them. But will he be a difference maker? Maybe in one game. Will he alter the season? I don't think so. I think he would have had his moments already in the NBA if he played to his full potential. I think that would have happened already. So, but who knows? He could have a big game, and it could be critical, and it could be whether or not the Lakers make or miss the playoffs. You just don't know. So, it was a good signing for the Lakers for what they have to work with right now. But but getting back to the Knicks, another former player, Jared Jeffries, 11-year vet in the NBA, played for the Knicks, played for the Wizards, started with the Wizards, played for the Portland Trail Blazers and the Houston Rockets, and he's, I guess, called it a career. Reports said that he's now taking a scouting role possibly in Denver, or he is taking the scouting role in Denver. So, that's kind of it's good to see a guy who's been in the league for a long time, and not that he was anything special or amazing. Solid player, played not the best offensive player, most known for his defense, but Jeffries, he came into the games and I guess he provided that energy that a lot of teams needed. And it's just good to see a guy like this continue on his NBA career, not on the court, but on the sidelines and doing something. That's great. Another right there, retired player, NBRPA, and the NBRPA Miami chapter. That's a perfect example right there of a guy finding work after his playing career. So, it's good stuff for Jared Jeffries.
Hey, if you can get work wherever you can get work. Former players, it's a shame a lot of them go through when they retire because they just get mixed up with a bad deal or somebody takes advantage of their money or they just don't, invest wisely. And a lot of times you hear these guys, going bankrupt. Allen Iverson obviously is the biggest name that we've heard recently of that happening to. And that just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how much money you make over your career, you're still going to need a job when the NBA is over with, So, congrats to Jared Jeffries, and look, you don't got to be a superstar to recognize talent,
Right.
If you're in the NBA, you're in the NBA for a reason, so I'm sure he'll do a great job.
Definitely. All right, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got a special guest. Warren Shaw, Boston Celtics beat writer for Yahoo Sports and contributor for Dime Magazine. Stick around, Talkin' Hoops, talkinghoops.com.
Don't foul out. Talkin' Hoops will be right back. I'm Mark Sanchez with a message for women. This is the actual sound of my heartbeat. I'm sharing my heart to let you know that the symptoms of women's heart attacks can be different from men's. Please learn more. All it takes is a few minutes of your time in return for years of healthy life. That's a deal even my agent couldn't negotiate. Cover your heart. Learn more. CVS cares.
The new free CBS radio app streams your favorite CBS radio stations, as well as all your favorite AOL and Yahoo music stations directly to your iPhone, iPod Touch, and BlackBerry Bold. With 30 genres of professionally programmed stations at your fingertips, you can hear whatever you want, whenever you want. Stations like K-Rock, 1010 Wins, WFAN, AMP, and over 600 others. Now you can easily take your favorite stations with you on the go. The CBS radio app is everything you wanted from streaming radio and a whole lot more. Go to cbsradio.com/mobile to download your app today.
This is AJ, and you're checking out Talkin' Hoops, where you can hear the true legends of basketball. If you missed any of the action from today's show, you can find the full episode on talkinghoops.com or youtube.com/talkinghoops. And don't forget to follow @Talkin' Hoops on Twitter and give us a like on Facebook for all the latest around the league.
Sassy! Sassy!
This week's episode, Bobcat in the Cave.
Gosh, Johnny, playing in the cave sure is neat. Oh boy, a kitty cat. Sassy, the kitty cat's yelling. What, Sassy? It's not a kitty, it's a bobcat? Speaking of cats, you'd like to stress the importance of adopting cats from animal shelters? Over 5 million cats go into animal shelters every year? And with millions of healthy cats to choose from, it's a shame more people don't adopt from shelters? This bobcat, Debbie. Help, Sassy! Why bother? We'll just get into more trouble tomorrow? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, nuts.
Sassy is brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org. Remember, adopt.
My dream is to become a mechanical engineer.
My dream is to be a ballerina.
My dream is to be a veterinarian.
I want to be a chef,
Truck driver.
a teacher,
A shoe designer.
Professional skateboarder.
But right now,
I'm just a kid.
just a kid.
I'm just a kid.
I'm just a kid ready to be adopted.
Ready to be adopted.
I'm just a kid ready to be adopted. For the facts about adopting a child from foster care, contact the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption.
Hey guys, this is AJ. Want to talk more hoops? Bring the show in overtime. Check out talkinghoops.com. Catch you on the rebound.
Welcome back to Talkin' Hoops.
About 15 players in the team. 14 get along.
Now here's a guy who likes to dunk.
On an 8.5-foot ring. Take it away, AJ.
And we are back, Talkin' Hoops, talkinghoops.com. AJ, Kyle with you. As always, we're here. We're doing it like we always do. And getting back into the show, we're trying to get a hold of Warren, actually, as we speak. But we'll switch topics, and we'll talk about Kobe Bryant and his injury update. Kyle, why don't you start us off with that?
Well, Kobe's interesting because a lot of people didn't expect him to be ready for the start of the season, and now it's actually like a possibility because people are talking about can he come back? Can he come back? He's been posting videos. He's jumped off of a high diving board. He's done some running on an anti-gravity machine. Now, the Lakers spokesman came out to the LA Times in an interview and said that he is progressing well. He's doing very well, but they're not ready to give him a timetable as to when he's going to return. His original, when he tore his Achilles tendon, his original, timetable of recovery was around 6 to 9 months. So 6 to 9 months puts him right in October at 6 months. The Lakers open the season October 29th against the Clippers. It's possible. He's probably going to miss the whole preseason and training camp. So don't expect him to be back for that. But it is possible for this guy to get back on the 29th. Now, is that something that the Lakers should do? Obviously not, because you're not going to win a championship this year. You have watched, if you're the Lakers, you have watched every other team in the Western Conference who is a contender get better. The Rockets got better. They stole your man, Dwight Howard. Okay? You've got the Nuggets. They've gotten better. You've got the Warriors, who have got a whole lot better. You got a healthy Andrew Bogut. You've added Andre Iguodala. Great team. So every other team in the Western Conference that is a contender has either stayed or gotten better from last year. You've lost Dwight Howard. You have nothing left. You've lost Metta World Peace.
Right.
You now have Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol. That's it. So why rush Kobe back and risk him hurting himself even further this late in his career? Because obviously the older you get, the more your body breaks down.
Right.
Why rush him back in a lost season?
Honestly, I agree with you. I don't think it's worth rushing him back. And the Lakers aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Let's just face it. And I think it just comes down to what Mitch... Yeah, I always do this. Go ahead. Say his last name.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Kupchak?
Kupchak?
Are you going to say Kupchak?
All right, I'm sorry. Look, it always happens with his last name. I don't know what it is, but Mitch Kupchak, he even said it. They're just going to try and be a competitive team, as competitive as they can be each game. That's not saying much for the Lakers. I was shocked when I heard that. So, going back to Kobe Bryant here, don't rush him back. Let the team just be competitive. With or without him, if they're going to be competitive, as competitive as they can be with him, then you might as well just wait till he comes back, because they're only going to be worse without him. So
That's right. I mean, you're looking at a tough Western Conference.
Right.
San Antonio, they didn't really get better, but at the same time, they're bringing back the whole team that went to the finals last year.
Yeah.
You got a championship caliber team that went to the finals last year that's returning everybody of importance.
Yeah.
Parker, Duncan, Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, Ginobili.
Right.
These guys are all going to be back. Yeah, Duncan is older and Ginobili's older, but it's the same team. The Clippers may have had the best offseason of any team in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a questionable head coach who a lot of people said didn't work with that team. So what do? You bring in Doc Rivers, one of the best coaches in the NBA. You had a serious issue with outside shooting last season. What do? You bring in Jared Dudley and J.J. Redick.
Right.
Shoot the basketball.
Right.
You had a bench that needed some upgrading. What do? You re-sign Matt Barnes. You bring in Antoine Jameson.
Right.
Bring in Byron Mullins. Darren Collison.
Right.
Okay, the Clippers had probably the best offseason of any NBA team.
Oh, definitely. They did.
Memphis,
Easy. I think the coaching change alone was the best upgrade in the sport right now.
Oh,
so
when you're trading for a head coach, I mean, you're on a whole different playing field. I mean, these guys are trading for a head coach.
Right.
All right? I don't even know if that's allowed in NBA 2K. Can you even trade for a coach in a video game?
No. But while we're on Doc Rivers, speaking of Doc Rivers, his former team, the Celtics, on the line with us right now is a Boston Celtics beat writer for Yahoo Sports and a dime contributor, Warren Shaw. Warren, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, fella? Thanks for having me on.
No problem.
What's up, Warren?
What's up, Kyle? Good deal.
Yeah, Kyle's talking now. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I'm all chatty now. I'm all up for the show.
Fired up, bro.
It's weird that I would get chatty for the Boston Celtics because we almost never talk about the Boston Celtics because there's not a lot going on in Beantown, as I'm sure you can attest to.
Take it easy, Kyle. Take it easy.
There's not a whole lot unless you're talking about rebuilding. I mean, all right, they get rid of Jason Terry, they get rid of Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. Clear signs that this team is thrown in the towel. Doc Rivers leaves town, he splits, and now you're looking at Rajon Rondo. And here's my burning question with the Celtics and Rondo: is A, do we know if this guy's going to be ready for the start of the season? And B, does he finish the season in Boston?
Well, A is probably going to be a no. I don't think he's going to be ready for the start of the season, and that A actually really affects B a whole lot. Because if they do want to potentially try to trade him, they need to make sure that he's 100% healthy when he does come back so that they can showcase him. And I do think, right now they don't have any plans to move him. At least that's what everyone is saying. They're saying all the right things, especially with the new coach, Brad Stevens, involved. But my heart says that he probably does finish there. But again, like I said, if they really start to really stink it up, if you will, and they start to get some great offers, Detroit supposedly is still interested. Milwaukee may still be interested. He's not a guy in terms of talent-wise that's going to be hard to move.
Yeah.
If you're the Celtics, right? I'm just thinking if I'm running the Celtics and I have some say, if you're rebuilding, you can get a ton. I mean, obviously it all depends on if he comes back healthy, like you said. But you can get a ton of assets for a draft class that's stocked. I mean, a lot of people are saying this may be the best draft class since the LeBron Melo draft class. This is a stacked draft class coming up. You can get a lot of young talent in return for Rondo. I don't know if the reports are true, but Rondo is like a hard player to get along with coaches. You got to find the right coach. I don't know what kind of coach Brad Stevens is going to be. That's a whole other thing. I mean, they bring in a rookie head coach. That's a whole other story. In terms of giving up Rondo, what can they get? Do you think a team is willing to give a first? Is Rondo worthy at this point of a first round pick? Would a team give that up? Do you see something like that for Rondo possibly this season?
Well, like I said, I think it's going to depend on what he comes back and how he plays initially, and then again, if he does get along with Brad Stevens, that all those selling points go into the trades because like I know NBA GMs, man, they smell blood in the water. So if they think that there's trouble in Beantown, and Rondo's not getting along with the coach, this and the other, everyone's going to try to get a bargain deal, So if he comes back, he plays pretty well, then yeah, they can definitely get a first rounder for him because the guy is an all-star. He is an NBA all-team guy. Run a second team, third team, and I don't think getting a first round pick for him is something that's too pricey for Ainge to ask for.
Well, there were reports that this guy didn't always get along with Doc Rivers either. So, I'm assuming he's going to have some problems with Brad Stevens. I know Brad Stevens came out and said everything's good right now. They've been working out and, talking and, but I don't know. I just feel like Rondo's going to fight with any coach he goes to. I don't know if that should be a factor.
Well, I mean, Ron, yeah, he's prickly, bro. There's no two ways about that. I myself even had a run-in with him, when I went to an Orlando Magic game with the Celtics, and sometimes he's just a little bit moody. So we don't know what Coach Stevens is going to be like. They brought in an assistant coach, Walter McCarty, to kind of be his pseudo handler, if you will. A player that a coach that was once a player, so that Rondo can hopefully relate to him a little bit. So I think we really just kind of have to wait and see. The Celtics are a huge enigma. Nothing but questions going on with them this season because of all the changes, because of Rondo's injury, because of the changes in the front office and new rookie head coach. So it's crazy. We have no idea what's going to happen right now. But yeah, Rondo, he's definitely a tough character to deal with.
And the guy Kelly Olynyk also, the draft pick they brought in, he was great in the summer league. So here's my issue with this guy though. Okay, I don't think physically he's going to be strong enough to defend a lot of the bigger centers in the league. This guy looks to me, he's thinner than Chris Bosh. Okay, and you bring a guy like this in, the most I see him giving you is maybe a David Lee type of player here, where not a great defender but can rebound and could obviously score the ball, but. His first season coming in, do you think this guy's going to play heavy minutes? Do you think this is going to be kind of the focal point until Rondo comes back?
Well, I think that's a great question. The Celtics have, again, so many questions in their lineup. We don't know how it's going to shake out. Because if Rondo is not there to start the season, if he comes back, say, mid-December or late December, whatever it is, then who's going to be the starting point guard?
Right.
So does Bradley move to the one, or do they bring Phil Pressey off the bench to start there? And then that has a trickle-down effect all the way down to the front court because of so many guys who can play multiple positions. Do you play Sullinger out of position at the 5? One of the things that was said initially when Olynyk was drafted was Ainge said that he saw him as a stretch 4. So kind of in the Dirk Nowitzki mold, if you will, who happens to be Olynyk's favorite player. So, I mean, it's insane because, yeah, I kind of agree with you. He doesn't necessarily have the size right now to kind of bang at the 5 position. Right. But if they're going to try to play him at the stretch 4 and then move Sullinger to as an undersized 5, even though his body and he's more physical, he can probably handle it, then I guess that can hide Olynyk a little bit if you move him at the 4 and not the 5 position.
Yeah, that's another thing. They don't really have, I guess, a legit 5. A lot of teams don't. You know, they use. I mean, the Knicks for a long time used Stoudemire at the 5. So, but they don't look like they have a real 5. Avery Bradley, in my opinion, is not a point guard. He's a great defender, but he's just not a point guard. He doesn't create for other guys, and he doesn't have that instinct. And if that's who they're going to go with at point guard, then this team is really going to bomb. I feel bad because they have a lot of pieces, but it's like a collage of just randomness going on. I don't know how Jeff Green and Gerald Wallace are going to get along. You know, how does Chris Humphries work with Olynyk playing and Jared Sullinger? These guys are all kind of similar, in my opinion. So it's like a hodgepodge team. AJ and I always discuss, and now it's probably not going to happen, but yeah, I guess anything is possible. They're both hurt right now. Russell Westbrook being traded for Rajon Rondo. We've always thought that would have been like a match made in heaven because Westbrook, where Garnett and Pierce were in their careers, they could have let the scoring go to somebody else. And Westbrook would have taken that over, and now that they would have been traded, Westbrook would be the clear face of the franchise. And the Thunder need a guy like Rondo. I mean, here's a guy who can score, but will also give Durant as many shots as he wants in the court. He's not going to take away any shots from Durant. And I guess it's still a possibility. Both guys are hurt. It could be a swap. But I want your take on that. Do you think, like, I guess I'm kind of thinking of a fantasy thing right now, but what do you think of that deal?
Well, I mean, I've heard that scenario brought up on multiple occasions, and yeah, I mean, it is very interesting because, like I think as you mentioned, you know, with Pierce and KG, they weren't necessarily trying to score the basketball, you know, towards the latter part of their career, and Westbrook being more of a scoring guard definitely could have maybe fit that bill a little bit, but Westbrook too, he's a personality as well, you know, and again, you don't hear about him so much, you know, clashing with Scott Brooks, but he definitely has a little chip on his shoulder, so it's been very interesting to see what that would have been like, you know, in that Celtics locker room if he was brought on. I do believe Rondo would be a perfect complement to Durant, especially in the years when they still had James Harden. So I mean that would have been, and then he potentially could have even kept Harden because even Rondo's contract is a little bit cheaper than Westbrook's is. So yeah, I think that trade might have worked, you know, in the past. I don't know if it's something that either team is willing to look at currently right now. But like you said, you know, with both guys coming off of injury, we really have to see how they both come back. And then see, you know, how things shake out from there.
Not just that, but how about Perkins? How about the fact that they can't move that contract? They probably won't ever move that contract until it expires. And Rondo just coming back to reunite with his best friend, which was reported multiple times. These guys used to go out to dinner all the time in Boston. That was a big hit for Perkins when he was traded, and Rondo. Rondo was really upset about it. To kind of reunite that chemistry and have Kevin Durant there, I just like Rondo being there. But this is really my issue, okay? To me, the Celtics, the only way they're going to be good, okay? The only way they're going to be good is if Rondo somehow becomes more of a scorer, because setting up Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett and Jason Terry, and you know, it's a lot different than setting up a bunch of young players that are going to be out of place, out of position. You know, hey, maybe even if you get a Rookie of the Year candidate, it's not like LeBron James was in this draft, okay? You're not playing with any crazy superstar. So if Rondo, he was known as a distributor, which is why we like him going to Oklahoma City, if he's going to just distribute to this team, I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they're going to even make the playoffs. I just don't see it happening. I think the only way for this team to overachieve is if Rondo becomes more of a scorer and Jeff Green plays out of his mind. That's pretty much how I see it for Boston.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with you at all. I think everybody realizes that Rondo definitely has to take charge of the team from an offensive standpoint, and you know, hopefully he can drive and get to the basket, and also hit the jumper a little bit more as well. I actually just wrote something on Jeff Green on Yahoo, like, you know, a couple of days ago, and kind of saying, alliterating some of the same things that you just said. He's going to have to raise his points per game average to somewhere in the 19 to 22 points per game, and almost be kind of like consideration for an all-star. Like, I mean, that's how well he has to play for Boston to have a chance right now. Because as we said before, there's just too many guys kind of in the same mold with the Chris Humphries and the Brandon Basses, and you know, and even Marshawn Brooks kind of playing, you know, behind Jeff Green. Like, all these guys, where are they all going to play? How are they all going to fit? And then you're coming in with a brand new system. Right. So yeah, it's really dicey for Boston right now. But Rondo and Green have to be the focal points of the offense. And again, Rondo hasn't proven that he's capable of doing that just yet. So it's going to be a big year.
All right, we've bashed the Celtics this whole time. We've been talking smack about them. If I'm a Celtics fan, right? If there's a Celtics fan sitting at home and I just made you so depressed that you want to jump off your building, how can you talk them back from the ledge? What can they possibly look forward to this season? Is there any positives for a Celtics fan to look for this season?
Well, first, it starts with you taking off your Knicks hat. That would be the first step, okay?
Well, if
you're a Celtics fan, you don't want to see Kyle rocking a Knicks hat right now, but okay.
Well, you know what? That's just something you got to deal with, okay? That's something you're going to have to deal with.
No stress there, bro. No stress. I'm going to kind of, I guess, cop out, if you will, because, I mean, one of the main positives you can take is definitely how Olenek played in the summer, and the fact that he's probably a little bit better than advertised. Yes, he's going to struggle on defense, but he's definitely shown the ability to put the ball on the floor for a big man and definitely shoot the three. And he has a decent post-up game, nothing crazy, but he can back up and post up just a little bit. Also, what we don't know is what we had in Marshawn Brooks. We drafted the guy a few years ago, then traded him for Jadjuan Johnson, inexplicably, which, was probably one of the worst draft day trades the Celtics have made in recent history. And now he's going to get a chance, to probably come in and be a sixth man and really come in and scoring well, which is something that he does pretty naturally. So I'm anxious to see what those two guys can do. Brooks has a lot of talent. Obviously, listen, I'm going to say this with a grain of salt. Coming out of Providence, people saying he was, a very, 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 very poor man's Kobe Bryant. But, again, he has those types of skills where he can definitely score the basketball. So I'd be looking at those two guys, Olenek and Marshawn Brooks for Boston as far as positives go.
Also, another positive, well, actually, it's kind of a question mark again, but I guess it's not really a positive or a negative. But how about just Brad Stevens? How about the new coach of the Celtics? Is this guy the right fit? Is he actually going to be able to coach in the NBA? I think that's a big question mark by itself. But if he turns out to be a great coach, if the Celtics overachieve, I mean, that was a big plus. So, I think Brad Stevens is definitely, I guess.
That was a surprise hire too. I was following Coach. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you know a little bit more than me, Warren. But to me, that was a surprise. I hadn't even heard his name. Didn't know it was a possibility. I didn't know who they were looking into. But I never heard Brad Stevens' name. Was that as much of a shock for you as it was for me?
Everybody was stunned. Nobody knew. Nobody. I remember I was driving from one job to the next and started on Twitter, and I was like, what? And it even took me a while. I was like, Brad Stevens, and I had to be like, what, the Butler? You know what I mean? So it caught everybody off guard. And Ainge he gets a lot of stuff for leaking stuff out. That's something he did not leak, and he kept that very close to the vest. And especially in today's NBA, that's extremely shocking. So yeah, nobody saw that one coming.
All right, Warren. Before we let you go, I'm gonna leave you with this. As far as the Boston Celtics, look, I think it's a big question mark as to what's going to happen. But your take on Danny Ainge, what do you actually think? First of all, do you like him as a GM? Do you think he's a good GM? Because if you like him, then I think you got to put trust that he did the right thing and he got the right players, and hopefully it all pans out.
Well, let me go on record as saying I don't necessarily like Danny Ainge. I think he's had his moments, if you will. But again, my first ever article on Yahoo actually was me ripping Danny Ainge, based on some of the moves he made, especially dating back to that Kendrick Perkins trade, and then the fact that the Celtics have been one of the most atrocious rebounding teams in recent history for the last 4 or 5 years, and to not address that is just egregious to me. So in that regard, I don't like some of the moves that he's made, but. What he did this summer, I think it was time, in light of everything that was going on with Doc Rivers, he made the right moves. And definitely, getting what he got for Garnett and Pierce, and getting that package from Brooklyn. Yeah, it's not the greatest. Humphries and Wallace, aren't the greatest players. We still don't really know what Marshawn Brooks has out there, but getting the draft picks as well. And then, some of those expiring contracts, especially with Humphries, he did a good job where that's concerned. So I don't want to, bury the guy too badly. Like anybody else, man, he has his good days and his bad days. And right now, I guess he's having a little bit better summer than he did in previous years.
All right, there you
have
it.
The league is a big league, and the internet's even bigger. So we appreciate your time. But fans at home, they want to check you out. Where can they see some of your stuff and hear you, Warren?
Oh man, I really appreciate that. I'm over at Dime Magazine, so dimemag.com. Always producing great content, not just me, all of my fellow writers on there, and definitely on Yahoo Sports. Usually get posted on the front page under some of the main writers like Wojo and Spears, and then you'll see our stuff kind of at the bottom. But we're definitely doing our thing. And make sure you can definitely catch me and my homeboy Cal Lee on our podcast as well, which we hope to have you guys on as well, called The Baseline. We're on Mixcloud, and we're also on iPadio. So, yeah, definitely check us out and hit me up on Twitter, Shot Sports NBA, man. I really appreciate the look.
And The Baseline, it's an up-and-coming happening show. Check them out. It's good stuff, good content, and you get to see Warren Shaw, so it's big.
I don't know if that's a positive, man, but I appreciate that.
All right, Warren, take it easy, and we'll catch you on the rebound, as we like to say.
Definitely will, man. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Take care.
All right, Warren, you too.
Bye-bye.
All right, Kyle, Warren had a lot of great things to say.
Well, Celtics basketball.
About the Celtics. He really did.
We never talk about the We talk about the Pelicans more than we do about the Celtics.
Oh, hopefully Celtics fans tuning in. There's a lot of positives, there's a lot of negatives, but hopefully it all comes together, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this season's going to go so well. Look, like I said, they have like a hodgepodge of talent. They got talented guys, but how the hell is it going to work, especially under a rookie head coach? And Rondo, I expect a lot of stories to come out, some even from Warren probably, about how uncomfortable and unsatisfied he is with being with the Celtics. So I personally don't think he's going to be there. I don't think he finishes the season in Boston.
I think this is a knock on the NBA too, because the Celtics are one of those teams that have to be good. They have to be good. They have to be.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from because they're such a dynasty and a legendary team, and they have so much history. But everybody's got to rebuild. Nobody is immune to rebuilding. Look at the Lakers; they are on the cusp. They are almost the definition of rebuilding. And you have the Lakers and the Celtics, the two franchises with the most history and the biggest fan bases and all these championships, and both of them are going into rebuilding stages. The Celtics are there. Right. The Lakers are about to follow.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to do it, man. Everybody's got to do it. Nobody is immune to rebuilding.
I mean, I think it's... I don't know what it is or why I think the Celtics, for whatever reason, are more important than the Lakers being good. I don't know what it is. I really don't. I don't really have an answer as to why I feel that way. And this is coming from a Knicks fan. I'm saying this as a Knicks fan. I feel like the Celtics just need to be good. They need to be in the playoffs. They need to be there. So,
well, you know what? The East is going to be 6, 7, and 8. I think those seeds are going to be up for grabs. The Cavs, I think, are vastly improved, so they're going to be fighting. The Wizards are going to be fighting. The Pistons are going to be fighting. But how good are these teams really going to be? So, maybe the Celtics sneak in, but is it even worth it to sneak into the playoffs at this point? What's the point of getting an 8 seed when you got to play the Heat in the first round? Right. Well, why not just enter yourself into the NBA lottery? What is the point of being a 7 seed and having to play the Pacers, or the Knicks in the first round?
No.
You're not going to beat the Pacers or the Heat in the first round if you're a 7, 8 seed. It's just not going to happen.
I'm excited that other teams that weren't in the playoffs may actually have a shot to make the playoffs now. Looking at Detroit, as we've always said. Looking at Cleveland, if they're healthy, putting them back in the playoff picture. But I don't know. When obviously, like you said, teams have to rebuild, and you take out the Celtics, it's something's missing, man. It's just not the same. Something is not right. And I know they got to rebuild, and hopefully they get in at that 8th spot, but you never know. The other teams are like that too. I don't like when Philadelphia is not in the playoffs. I was kind of mad last season that Philly, just didn't play that well. We talked.
You just want all the Atlantic teams in the playoffs.
I don't know what it is, but. Even David Stern said the Sixers, he hopes they're in the playoffs. He feels that they're really important to the NBA.
Yeah, they're not even. They might be the worst team in the NBA next season. So David Stern, and you're have a long way to go before you see them in the playoffs.
You're in a funny mood tonight, Kyle. You start off very emotional about Ricky Davis. You light up the Celtics, just blast them, and and then pretty much just throw the Sixers under the bus. That they're going to be the worst team in the NBA. Kyle's been drinking his Pepsi, guys. Kyle's been drinking his Pepsi. Cal has been drinking his Pepsi.
I am juked up on this Pepsi. I'm freaking out right now. I feel like going shrieking through the quad. It's like flowing. It's like coursing through my veins right now. Look, Sixers are going to suck. I'm sorry, but if you're a Sixers fan, you know it. You can't trade your best player for 2 rookies. One guy that's not even going to be back until maybe December, January because he tore his ACL in college last season. You're not going to make the playoffs. You lose Andrew Bynum, you're not going anywhere. All the people that you traded for Andrew Bynum didn't amount to anything. Jay Rich is injured. He's probably not going to be on the team next season. You got Nerlens Noel, who's not going to play until December, January. Drew Holiday's in New Orleans. I'm sorry, you're just not going anywhere. You don't have the talent. You're not there. But again, everybody's got to rebuild.
Everybody's got to rebuild.
You know what the Sixers should do? They need to bring in Allen Iverson in some capacity. Coach, scout, let him GM. I don't know. Let him play for 20 minutes. Something's got to give.
He could be
Allen
the team
Iverson has to be the
therapist.
Sixers.
He could be the team therapist.
If I was, I don't know if that's good.
I was waiting for you to say. I just wanted to hear what you were going to say to that.
I want him in some capacity, not in a therapist type capacity. Not to say that he probably doesn't have some wise words for people.
We're talking about practice, all
that's the
right?
best-
Guy misses practice. He talks to Allen Iverson. Iverson goes, we're talking about practice here, you know?
We're talking about practice? Listen.
Not a game.
Iverson needs to be on that team because if I'm a free agent in the NBA and Iverson's on the coaching staff, that's a plus for me. I want to go hang out with Allen Iverson. I want him to coach me. That is the man. At one point, he was the best player in the league. I think that there may be a gray period in between Jordan and Kobe. And in that gray period is Allen Iverson. Now, it may not have lasted for a long time, but I think Iverson may have been the best player in the NBA between Kobe's rise and Jordan's decline. Is that fair?
That's more than fair.
I think that Allen Iverson may have been the best player at one point in his career in the NBA. And that's saying something, okay? Only a handful of guys can say that they were the best player in the NBA at some point.
Yeah.
Okay? You can't even say that Durant was the best player or Melo was the best player in the NBA. Like, clearly. Because LeBron is there. And there's always going to be a debate.
Right.
There's only a handful of guys that you could say at one point in their career they were the best in the NBA.
Yeah.
I think Allen Iverson has that claim.
Boy, we're getting everything from you tonight. Maybe you should drink more Pepsi out of the glass bottle.
They're
Maybe
hard
that
to
should
find,
happen.
man. It's not like they're just lying around in stores everywhere. They are not easy to find.
Yeah.
Contrary to what people may think, I'm in Brooklyn, New York, so I don't know where anybody is listening to this show is at, and it may be like right down the street from them, and they may be like, yo, you suck because I can get it right now. But I can't find this bad boy in a lot of places.
Wow.
This is like a rarity. I bought like 4 bottles when I saw it. This is bottle number 2. I got 2 left.
We should start titling our shows. This will be the Pepsi bottle.
Yo, free advertising for Pepsi. Pepsi, man. We just plugged you, babe.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm looking at AI's numbers right now. Okay? He had years where he averaged over 30 points per game.
Yeah. Look at his career averages. Look at his career average.
Oh, I know his career averages. He's got 26.7 points and 6.2 assists. I know his career, but I'm just saying, like, individually wise.
No, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying that let alone just his career alone is impressive. The fact
in
that
the
he can average that for his
98-99
career.
season, all right, from 98 to 2000, which is 2 seasons, Kobe averaged 20 points and 22 points per game.
Yeah.
Okay? From the 98 to 2000 season for Iverson, he averaged 26.8 and 28.4. So he beat Kobe easily in points per game for those seasons.
Yeah.
And then in the 2000-2001 season, 31 points per game. And that season, Kobe 25.
Right.
So those 3 seasons...
Plus, you're forgetting one big game, one big moment.
What's that?
He crossed over Michael Jordan.
Well, wasn't that like his rookie year or something? Wasn't that like 96 or 97?
Yeah, but still, the fact is, that's just alone gets you into the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
Hey, listen, that was a great move. The thing that sticks out with me from Allen Iverson is when Tyronn Lue, when he fell,
yeah,
Iverson just looked at him and stepped over him because like there was a lot of banter between them.
That's right.
And Iverson's getting shut down by Lue. That was ridiculous. That's what sticks out to me when I think of Allen Iverson. Like one play, that's the play. Plus, he single-handedly took them to the finals. And I know Aaron McKee was on the team. Aaron McKee friend of the show, and he was a big contributor. But, if Allen Iverson's not on that team, then they don't go to the finals, obviously.
Right.
That was the best player in the league, probably from maybe 99 to 2001. Maybe, I can maybe be saying that, I could say that with a lot of confidence. Maybe for 2 to 3 seasons, Iverson may have been the best player in the NBA.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think also alone the guy was an icon at one point, a legend. He started so many trends, especially when he signed the deal with Reebok and his clothing line came out and everything. I mean, look, LeBron James started making it big. His clothing line came out. Melo and his off the court apparel, just everything. You know, when you have a player like that, they're not bad. You don't advertise a player's clothing for him being a bad player. So the fact that Iverson was up there with Melo, with LeBron, with all these guys, you know, and he played with Melo. He played with Carmelo Anthony.
He did play with Melo.
You know, I just think Iverson, he's definitely one of the greatest of all time. Easily.
That was the answer.
The answer. He is the answer.
He made basketball fun to watch.
You got a
that
question?
was the key
Ask
for
the
everybody. You didn't have to be an NBA fan to enjoy watching Allen Iverson. I mean, I was in high school at the time when Iverson took them to the finals against the Lakers, and there were girls walking around with Iverson jerseys. They had no idea anybody else on the team. You know, they didn't watch basketball, but they knew Iverson.
Everyone knew Iverson.
And they liked him so much that they bought his jersey and just wore it. They're not even a fan of the game, but Iverson jerseys were getting rocked. How many girls just rock basketball jerseys and don't watch the game? Even now, like, no knock to anybody, but I don't see random girls walking around with like a LeBron or a Bosh or a Melo or Durant or a Westbrook jersey.
You're right. It was always Iverson.
You know, Iverson, people had his jersey. You didn't have to be a Sixers fan. You didn't have to like the team.
Everyone just had Iverson.
You just enjoyed watching this guy play. He had swag on a million. Trillion. Swag was on a million trillion for AI. Man, I just missed that. There's a lot of guys, you know, we were talking before the show, there's a lot of guys in the NBA like Iverson, right? And McGrady. These guys are like the best players or one of the best players in the NBA, and then they just fall from grace, and you don't hear from them. You know, McGrady just retired. That's why he was in the news. You know, when's the next time we're going to hear about McGrady?
When I don't. What was in that Pepsi, dude? What the hell are you drinking over there? Holy crap! Yeah, I know it's gone. You drank all of it, but still, what the hell? The hell's going on tonight?
Am I freaking out right now?
I don't know what's. You having just like all these like, you know, all your emotions are coming out tonight. Jeez, I don't know. All right, well, before we wrap up the show, we gotta talk about Steph Curry. We gotta get into this. So, Mr. Pepsi over here, why don't you please just lead us into Steph Curry?
Steph Curry is a great guy, right? Obviously, we know he's a great player, but he's even a better person. This guy is just a really good human being. Very quietly, I follow the NBA pretty closely. I didn't see anything about this during the season. Maybe I'm just stupid and I just missed it, and Golden State Warrior fans are like, yo, you're late to the party. But apparently, for every three-pointer he hit, he donated 3 mosquito nets to Africa. And mosquito bites, you know, that lead to obviously like malaria and diseases, they are the #1 leading killer for children in Africa. And he's donating nets, 3 at a time for every three-pointer he hit. And we all know what he did behind the three-point line last season. Set the record. So that man sent over a lot of nets to Africa.
Oh, Kyle.
That man did a really good thing. So shout out to Steph Curry.
Yeah.
We met him, right, when we were in Houston.
We met him in Houston. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Gotta get Steph on the show.
You know, so it's a true story. We did it for like 2 minutes. So he seemed like a cool guy, great person, just to do stuff like that. When guys who are in a position to help actually help, I appreciate that. They may not be helping me, but I just like knowing that there are good people out there.
You just appreciate help wherever.
I just appreciate him as a person. You know, just guys that are in a position to help and do it. It's a great thing because you're not obligated to do any of that stuff. Just because you're a millionaire doesn't mean you're obligated to help people out. And guys who do that and take time out to help people, you know, shout out to them.
Hey, you know, just waiting outside as a kid, you know, outside the garden, waiting for the Knicks to come in. You know, a lot of things I saw happen that the camera didn't catch. You know, guys don't realize what these players do, but there were homeless people waiting outside the game, and Eddie Curry gave a guy a pair of Jordans. Just some homeless guy threw him $100 and a pair of Jordans. Threw a homeless guy $100 and a pair of Jordans. Just pulled him out of his car. Bro. He told apparently this homeless guy that he was going to get him shoes, and he got him shoes. He brought him shoes. Guy waits every game just to say hi to Eddie Curry and thanks him for the shoes, and he wears them. Saw the guy twice. You know, Just stories like that.
You
Al
saw
Harrington.
that twice after that?
Yeah, I saw the guy. He's always there. He just says hi to he says hi to the players. I remember when Al Harrington played for the Knicks. He also threw a guy $100. These things they catch. Sometimes you catch these guys on ESPN walking in through the tunnel, but right outside where some of the homeless people were just waiting for the Knicks and stuff to come in. Guys just sitting there, and Al Harrington throwing them 100. Eddie Curry's giving out sneakers. It wasn't an event. It wasn't a promotional thing or anything. It was just being nice. It was just, hey, you know what? I make a lot of money, and here, what that homeless guy did with the money, I don't know. But what I saw Eddie Curry do, I thought that was, big. And I don't think players get enough credit. So,
awesome.
Yeah, it is. It was really cool to see, and to see it right in front of my face like that was just crazy. It wasn't a documentary. It was just legit. All right, we got to start wrapping up the show here. Special thanks to Warren Shaw. Definitely have him on again. He was a lot of fun. A lot of good stuff about the Celtics. That was big. Kobe Bryant, who knows where he's going to be? Who knows what's going to happen? Jared Jeffries, good luck being a scout. Hey, he was a Knick, so hey, he was a Knick. Shout out Kyle and his Pepsi. That was big tonight. That was big, Kyle. Just drink a Pepsi every show. Brings the true Kyle out of you. All right. NBRPA Miami, NBRPAMiami.com. Mark Strickland, get back here. Hope your son won his football game. But catch us on TalkinHoops.com. Check the latest. But until next time, for AJ, for Kyle, we'll catch you guys on the rebound.
Until Talkin' Hoops comes back into play, stay connected by getting at us on iTunes. Keep up to date with all the latest basketball news and rumors, and check out all our shows by logging on to TalkingHoops.com.
Catch you on the rebound.